All right, everybody. Welcome to week 1 of entrepreneurship. I am so excited about this class. First off, this is one of my first classes that I am teaching here at Escoffier. So for those who have never heard of me before, I am Chef Rachel Rancourt-Hobbs, and we have our 2 other awesome chefs with us as well. We have Chef Gregory and Chef Jonathan. You guys wanted to say a little hello?
Hello, everybody. I'm also new with Chef Rachel. So thank you, everybody, for welcoming both of us. And look forward to teaching you guys about learning some business and making some money.
Exactly. What about you, Chef Jonathan?
You guys may remember me from 165. You might have heard my voice once or twice before. But I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. I love it out here. I love this class. This entrepreneurship class can give you so many valuable tools for your career, and they're really applicable across the board. So this is just a wonderful class, and it's a lot of fun talking about these subjects. So
it is going to be a lot of fun. I love it so much that I'm actually getting my master's right now, and my concentration is entrepreneurship. So I'm right there with you guys too. My whole platform is all online, except for my discussions are due on Thursdays, and my 2 peer responses are due on Sunday. So that is obviously not the case for you guys, right? But since I am brand spanking new, we're gonna do a little bit of introductions. So I was born and raised in Massachusetts, so do not worry if you're a Yankees fan. I'll still talk to you. I won't spit in your food or do anything like that, so don't worry, you'll be good. And then I actually did horses for a good chunk of my life, and then I decided to switch and went to culinary school. And once I went to culinary school, I was able to travel all over the place. I was in New Zealand, Europe, Australia, England, and then I finally made my way out here to Colorado, and I've been out here ever since. And I've done everything from pastry chef, baker, line cook, event planner, all the way up to finally being an executive chef and general manager of a bed and breakfast, which was the reason I went to culinary school. And I loved doing it. I did it for 8 years. We had an event center. It was totally awesome. And then I had my son. He's 4 years old, and that's when I switched and started teaching. And now I get to teach you guys. So I'm going to let Chef Gregory and Chef Jonathan introduce themselves real quick. Do a nice little introduction just in case.
You want to go first, sir?
sure.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, I'm just outside of Omaha. I have spent a lot of time traveling around, and most recently before Omaha, I was in Fort Collins, Colorado for about 10 years, give or take.
Which is awesome because that's where I'm at. So Chef Jonathan and I were on the same town. That's right. Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
That's okay. I have worked everywhere from fine dining to beer bars, hotels to corporate dining. I've done catering. I've got at least a little bit of experience in a lot of different areas in this industry. So most recently, I've really had a large focus on numbers and costing and budgeting and all those fun things that are more behind the scenes in our industry. So that's quick.
All right. Chef Greg, you are up.
All right. Last but not least, my name is Chef Greg. I currently live in Delaware. Working backwards, I guess, a little bit. My last role in culinary, I was the executive chef and general manager for Bank of America, running their their food service for their corporate campuses. Before that, I spent 13 years in hotels with Hyatt Hotels and Resorts, and I was lucky enough to, I'm probably going to miss one or two, I was lucky enough to live in Boston, New York, New Jersey, Montreal, Newfoundland, Canada, Orlando, Phoenix, Minneapolis, Delaware, and there may be one more. So I spent a lot of times in hotels. I was lucky enough for them to pay to travel me around, and now I'm here working with you guys.
All right. So you guys may be wondering why we're introducing ourselves is because we're going to see how well you guys were paying attention. We are going to play a little game. I like that little shake of your head, Jennifer. That was, you're like, oh no, I'm going to have to talk. We're going to play a little game. We are going to play Two Truths and a Lie. How many people have heard of Two Truths and a Lie before? Raise your hand. Yeah. So I'm going to say 3 things. 2 of them will be true. 1 of them is going to be a lie. And you have to figure out which one it is going to be. And I'm going to go, and then Chef Jonathan, and then Chef Greg, and then you guys get to decide. So, number 1, I love Japanese anime. I know it, I watch it so much that you would think I would know Japanese by now, but I don't. Number 2, I went bungee jumping with my sister while we were in New Zealand, because New Zealand was one of the first places that you could bungee jump. And number 3, while I was in Australia, I was with the equestrian Olympic team. And for those who don't know what equestrian is, that means horses. So, which one do you guys think it is? Speak up.
Bungee jump.
1. 1. What else?
Got a lot of ones in the chat, Chef.
333.
333. What else? Come on, don't be shy.
Bungee jumping.
Bungee jumping. Anybody else?
Number 1.
What did you say, Tracy?
Bungee jumping.
Bungee jumping. Any other ones? All right. It was the bungee jumping. I am never going to throw myself off a side of a cliff. No, thank you. I am good on that. And I'm a big anime fan. I love Naruto. Bleach, I would like it a little bit more if it wasn't so long, but it goes on forever. And that was one of my pinnacle changes in my career, is when you're staring at a jump that you're supposed to jump over at a horse show, and you see that it's a car, a little Volkswagen Beetle that you are supposed to jump over. That's when you're kind of like, I'm good. I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to prove anything. You know, I can switch. So that's when I switched. All right, chefs, who wants to go next?
I can go next. So, number 1, I was a former student at Escoffier. I graduated from the ground school. Number 2, my favorite movie in the world is the Disney animated Robin Hood. And number 3, scuba diving in the British Virgin Islands is one of my favorite things in the world to do.
3.
2.
2, 2, 3.
3.
Anybody else?
Speak up, guys. I'm that kind of instructor.
3.
Yeah, scuba diving just isn't really my jam. I love the British Virgin Islands. I have been there a couple of times sailing and swimming and everything above the water, where I don't get quite so claustrophobic. scuba diving just isn't my thing. I love the Robin Hood movie. It is amazing. I have loved it since I was like my daughter's age, 1-year-old. And I did indeed graduate from the Boulder campus.
Nice. Very nice. All right.
All
Chef,
right.
you're up.
All right. So, number one, in all of my travels, I visited every state in the United States. Number two, when I built my house in Delaware, I built in a NASCAR room, a huge just NASCAR shrine. And number three, I raced in a professional bicycle race.
One.
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 Three.
What do you guys think?
3.
Could be 3.
B3. I did race in a professional bicycle race. That is true. I have not been to every state. I'm missing about 5. Nebraska being one of them. So I'll go out and see Chef John at some point.
Nice. Nice. So have you been to Alaska?
Yeah, my sister was in the Coast Guard, and she was stationed in Kodiak, Alaska. So I visited her in Kodiak. So yes, I've been to Alaska.
Nice. Very nice.
How about Hawaii?
No, I want to on that one, though. That's a good one. That is a good one.
All right. Now, you guys may be wondering, why do we play this game? Would you have answered or been more confident to answer if we gave you more information, or if you had the chance to actually ask questions? And this is where you guys say something.
For information for me.
I think that with you guys doing the game that you did, I mean, it kind of, it gave us all a little bit of where it was easier for us to, as a group, collectively, you know, give you our thoughts.
Very good. Now, what else? What about anybody else? Would you have liked to have more info? Would you have liked to have asked questions to us before you had to answer? I'm seeing nods of yes. Right?
Not so much ask questions, but we all just met each other. So we really only know what you told us.
Exactly.
So, you know, so it's like you really have to interact more in order to start developing some type of a relationship. So, yeah.
Exactly. And this is what you have to do for entrepreneurship. This is what you need to do for your business. You need to research and ask questions, get to know all of the different aspects that is going to allow you to be able to run your business. So for those who have thought about running a business, what are some things that you think about?
Where am I going to get the capital?
Where are you going to get the capital? What else? What are you going to look for?
Good one.
Location.
Location, right? What else?
I think about how we're going to get people coming through the door and stay coming through the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. How are you going to get those people in the door? How are you going to have those repeat customers, right? What else?
How many people will I have employed under me?
How many people you'll have employed under you, right? What else?
The food that you'll be serving?
What was it that Yvonne? Did you say the food
that you'll be serving?
Yep, the food that you're going to be serving. Anybody else? What else are you thinking?
Robert said, where and how do you start?
Where and how do you start? That's great. These are all questions that are part of being an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is a very broad definition, and it has to be broad for a reason, right? Because you can be an entrepreneur and run a restaurant. You can be one and run a bakery, a hotel with a restaurant inside of it, a bar. You can just be a consultant and work for yourself. You're still an entrepreneur. So there's a vast amount of things that can be considered part of entrepreneurship. And it's key that you are able to understand all the different tools and research that's going to go into making certain your business is going to run. And for entrepreneurship, you know, it's all about, you have that dream, you have that vision, but you need to make certain that you actually have the communication to be concise and consistent. And it has to be verbal and written, right? Because you need to write it all down. What we're doing in this class is you are creating your business plan, right? All throughout the 6 weeks, this is going to help you create your business plan. How many people have thought about their concepts? I have to see some hands raised. How many people have it where it's really easy to talk about it, but it's really difficult to write it down? Everything you want to do. Anybody? Not seeing any hands. Oh, I see somebody. Tammy, you rose.
There were a few hands up.
All right. What do you guys think? It's hard to come up with that concept, right? Well, you have the concept, you have the dream, but putting it to paper, that's where it's hard because you have so many different ideas, right? Yes. But that is why it's so important to make sure that you can write it down. Because throughout this entire 6 weeks together, I want you to think of us like investors. Every single time you put in assignments, every single time you're talking about your business and your concepts and everything you're going to do, you need to look at us like investors. How are you going to get my money from me to give to you? That is part of this class. This is how you need to approach all of your assignments and when you're thinking about a business. And now for an entrepreneur, you have a whole slew of things that you have to think about. This is another reason why it's so important to write everything down, because there are government policies that you have to think about. A great example, minimum wage. Minimum wage goes up every year, right? There's a difference between federal and state and all that good stuff. You need to know what policies are. Your health department, what's the health department going to tell you to do? And then you have to make certain that you have your framework down. You have your financing, because you may have the dream and you may have that perfect tile picked out and the swatch and you already know what you want on your menu. But if you don't have the money to back it up, then you're kind of dead in the water. So that's why it's really good to go through this and think about all the different steps. And you just break it into steps. It's not, don't look at it as one giant thing that looks scary. Just think of it as making a checklist and you're checking off every single piece that you have to do. And then you have your culture. Now your culture will also go into your concept, right? Because if I'm going to eat at Chef Gregory's high-end Michelin star rated establishment, I'm going to expect to see a super awesome like burger, gourmet burger with like frog wall in the middle, all that good stuff. I'm not going to expect to see a smushed fast food restaurant burger in a gourmet place. So that's why having consistency is key. Making certain that you have your concept down is key, because it's going to go into all the other aspects of your business. You're setting the tone. And then I love this because it says mentor, advisors, and support systems. You need that when you're starting off, because I may not be an expert, but if I do know somebody who is, I'm going to bring them in. I might not be an expert for accounting, but I may know an accountant, and I'm going to bring them in to help me with the numbers. I know that Chef Jonathan will know all the different beers to go and pair with all the different entrees. So I'm going to bring him in to get his opinion on stuff. Because you had to deal with like 100 different, was it 100 different beers?
We had 100 beers on tap, but every day we would change at least 5 to new beers.
Yes.
With a full food menu.
Yes, because his menu was insane. like the amount of beers that place had, I don't even know where it all was stored. And then you have your education, which you're doing now, which is awesome. But another part of being an entrepreneur is being a lifetime learner. You have to continue to learn, because you need to see if there's anything that can be improved upon. And then knowing what type of workforce you're going to have, because you're going to have a different style wherever you live, right? And then the local and global markets. Who are you going to target your product to? And communication is key in making certain you have good descriptions and details in your planning, so you don't end up with this. I love this little cartoon because it shows all the different ways, because if you just say it, it could be, I love this one. This is how the customer explained it. And then all the way to, this is actually what they really meant, because there's different, people can think of it like telephone tag. People will be able to say one thing on one end, and by the time it got to you, it'll be a completely different thing. And that's why writing it down and making certain that you have it all in your planning will be able to make sure it's concise, consistent, and you are going to actually be able to successfully open. So how many people have thought about their business as in business planning? How many people have thought about how they're going to plan out their business? Nobody thought about their menus, the place where they want to have it, their location.
So far, I have a menu. I have designed my layout because I had that class. So I have a lot of ideas, a lot of details so far.
Nice. Now, how about anybody else?
Well, I have actually started a small business. So I'm in the process of working with an advisor on my business plan, which I've been trying for a year to get it done, but it hasn't been easy. But we've come a long way. I have a small catering company. So it's just a little different than restaurant. I'm not looking to do it, be there every single day. I like catering because it gives me flexibility to do what I want to do and what I enjoy. So, but I've thought about all of that, target market location. I have a full menu that we add like monthly, because when I create new things, I want to add it on there after I try it and make sure it works. So
Nice. And it's important to do that because many people, they start off, because how many people know what the statistic is for businesses failing?
5 years.
What do you guys think it is? For the first 5 years, how many businesses do you think you will fail?
A lot of them.
A lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know the percentage, but I think it's a lot too.
70.
Yeah. Timothy put 85, Nadine 80%. It is 80% of businesses will fail in the first 5 years because a lot of them had the dream, but they didn't have the knowledge and the research to back it up. Because it's easy to say, well, this is what I want to do, but you need to answer, well, why am I doing it that way? How can I get it done? What should be the things that I look at? Who is really going to be my target market? Because I can't market to everybody. That's going to be too expensive. But if you look at all those different aspects, that's going to help you to be able to succeed. And especially a lot of times you'll see it that people will make their business plan and they'll make their marketing plan and then they're like, I am done. I don't have to do anything else. I am good to go. And that is not the case. Am I right, chefs? I just saw you guys laughing and shaking your heads. Because how many times have we seen that where they're like, oh yeah, no, it's great. Like, we got this. And it just is a disaster.
In some instances also too, people don't have the right support behind them as far as like, you can have a yes man that'll agree with everything that you said that you wanted to do and won't be honest to say, well, maybe that might not work, or maybe you should rethink that, because some restaurants in certain areas sell certain things and you might want to sell something that no one in that area sells, but no one in that area will buy it because that's not what they're interested in. And then somebody will say, oh, well, yeah, you'll make a killing selling that because no one else is doing it but you. But then you'll wonder why am I not getting any business? So you kind of really need somebody there to say, well, maybe you should rethink that.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And you have to remember too, that you brought up a great point, Tracy. Is this going to work? You want to make sure it's actually feasible. Will this be feasible for what I want to do where I am located? Because you may think it's a great idea, but then come to find out, if you sent out a boatload of surveys to everybody to do online and find out that only 2 people really would actually go for your product. So that's why it's so important to do the research, to look at the data and make sure that it's good and you're going to be able to succeed. Chef Jonathan, you look like you're going to say something.
A lot of people think our industry is pretty easy. They're like, oh, I can cook for my family really well. I can totally run a restaurant. Yeah, it just doesn't work that way. Takes experience and knowledge and research for like years research to really get prepared to run a business in our industry and really be successful at it. That's all I was gonna add.
No, that's perfect. That is perfect, because it is. You have to do a lot of research. Because remember, this is going to be your place. Nobody's going to love it as much as you are. So you have to be the one to make certain that you are doing your due diligence and covering all of your aspects. Now, say that you wanted to do something, you realize that it just didn't work out. But if you have different methods and tools at your disposal, you can always rehash, right? This I like to call the plan, do, check, act. This one, and you can use this for any aspect. When you guys make, let's say we're on a burger kick. Let's do burgers then. We made a burger. You didn't like the recipe. What do you do? What are you guys going to do?
Change it and mold it until you do.
Yeah, change it. How are you going to change it?
Just depends on what the recipe is and what you didn't like about it.
Yeah, you have to figure out, you got to plan out what you needed to do, right? Well, how you were going to actually change it. What needed to get done so that your burger will be perfect. And then what? Then we have to carry it out. We have to follow through. We actually make the plan and then we follow through with it. And now that means we changed the recipe. Now we're going to make it again, see how it turned out. And then you check, did it turn out? Did you guys like it? Is it working? Did you do a taste test? That's going to be how you're collecting your data, right? You're going to taste test that sucker yourself, see if you like it. And then act. Do we have to do anything else to it? Did I have to change it again? Maybe I put too much seasoning in it. Maybe I should do it without the fried egg on top. But maybe you liked it, and now you can move on to what type of sides you're going to do with it. And this is a great tool that you will use, and you can use for any part of your business. You can use it for your marketing plan. You can use it for your business plan. You can use it for your operation. You can figuring out all the policies and your procedures, because it's always a continuous cycle. You always want to improve. Now, some of you guys may be like, I have the best product in the world. I have the greatest, let's say, apple pie. Apple pie is my favorite. I make a fantastic mile-high apple pie. I put 10 apples in that sucker. No lie, 10 apples. It's like this big, half Granny Smith, half Macintosh. I make the greatest apple pie, but I live in Colorado. Macintosh is only around for 3 months out of the year because it bruises so easily. So what do I have to do now? I don't have my magic apple. It's no longer around. It's no longer in season for me. I have to reevaluate my apple pie. What other apple can I put in there? And you go through this whole process again. What do you guys think?
Either that or you can make your item seasonal.
Yeah, and that's part of the plan too. Do I change it or do I just make it a seasonal item? What type of things should you look at? And you can use this type of tool to figure it out. And then you can hash out your business plan. You can look at your concept, because if my concept is mile high apple pie, and then I say that an apple pie is seasonal, people aren't going to be too happy because they're going to want to see.
Well, it depends on your sales, because if your sales are really good and it might not be in season where you're located, maybe you can order it from someplace else to have it delivered, so you'll have it the whole time. Otherwise, you're wasting money either way it goes, I would think.
Yeah, but this is where it's part of that whole planning, right? You got to go through all of these different steps to see what's going to be the best approach for you guys.
Right.
And exactly, yeah. And then you always have to hash it out. How about Chef Greg and Chef Jonathan? Have you guys ever used this style in your establishments before?
Yes, coming from a corporate world, we use the same procedure whenever we have to renegotiate, or start a new contract. So we have to look at all of the benefits of it. How quickly can we start it? Are they going to be able to bring the product or the towels or the lighting or the changing the fire extinguishers, whatever it is it going to be realistic for us in the time frame that we need it? So we absolutely have used that system.
Nice. And, sorry, go ahead, Chef Jonathan.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
Okay.
I was just gonna pretty much agree.
Yeah. And and it may seem like it's a little scary, but you are coming into this with this knowledge. Many businesses, the people just thought, like Chef Jonathan said, that they were just, they were really good at cooking at home, and then they decided to open. You took that extra step and came to school to learn about this stuff. So you're already ahead of the game. You are already open to the possibilities of realizing your potential and the potential of your business and what the steps are to make it a success. One of my favorite things to use, and I use it like all the time, you can use it for your marketing analysis, you can use it for your business plan, you can use it for how well the customer service is in your establishment. It is your SWOT. Yay! SWOT analysis. It's fantastic. I love the SWOT analysis. It's honestly one of my favorite tools. It is great. You have your internal factors, so that's the inside of the business. You have, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Thinking that you don't have any weaknesses can be considered a weakness, because there's always something to improve upon. There's always something you can do to make it better, right? And then we have our external factors, where you have your opportunities and your threats. And I did this one as a bed and breakfast for you guys to see. And notice how I have multiple things. You see that? I have at least 3. I got 4 typically, but 3. That's key, because you want to be able to see all of the different things that could be a weakness and a threat. It's easy to come up with your strengths, but it's always a little bit trickier to look at your weaknesses and your threats. But you can take those weaknesses and your threats and then try to turn them into your opportunity, right? Right? Yeah, Chef, you're right. I'm going to start doing Bob's Burgers, where I'm like going to do like when he's talking to the turkey. I'm going to start doing that to you guys. Be like, yeah, you're so right. So that is the whole great thing about a SWOT analysis, is that you can look at it, you can break everything down, you can see what your business is so far and the things that you can improve upon, and then it gives you a structure to know what to look at next, to come up with that next game plan. And then you can go back to this bad boy right here and throw that into the mix. Isn't that fun? Yeah. And yeah, that's right. And now the pest analysis is something that is discussed, which goes over the political, the economic, your social, and your technology. Those ones can be your external factors, right? But I also like to do that as a separate analysis for those who like to geek out on analyses. Am I right? Who doesn't love a little research? Who doesn't love a little data, looking at data, right? Right? Nobody? Oh, don't worry. You'll love it. You'll see. It's fun. This is fun, awesome stuff. But because all of those things for your pest analysis, like political, what could be an issue with a business that would have to deal with political? What do you guys think? What is something that could be an issue under political, so government, that could potentially be an issue for your business?
Raising the property taxes.
Yeah, raising property taxes. Yes. What else? I just said it earlier too. Do you guys remember about the money? What was the money one?
Economic fluctuations.
Economic fluctuations. Yes, that is right on my threats too. But I was talking about the minimum wage, the rising cost of minimum wage, right? It keeps on going up. That's going to be a cost for your business, right? Any of those type of changes in health department code, fire code, any of that kind of stuff. What do you think for economic? What would be an issue for economic?
Well, if the minimum wage goes up and the prices of your restaurant's food isn't meeting what they're getting paid, then you're losing out money because you're giving away more money than you're making, right?
Yeah, let's look at, I mean, you can even look at it as, meat prices. This would be for probably in your cost controls class, but if you looked at meat prices and they are high because maybe there was with the recession, maybe people had to start looking for different jobs. Maybe farmers couldn't actually sustain their jobs anymore, being like actually working the fields. So they sold their farms. So there's less farmers making hay and grain to feed those cows. So now all of those farmers who are feeding those cows have to find their grain and hay from somewhere. So then they look and the prices go up and then your food cost goes up.
Right.
So yeah, Madagascar, there's a shortage of vanilla, right? That's going to make your food costs go up. Now, what about we did political, we did economic, what about social? What would be a social thing that could be a factor for your business?
Diet.
What did you guys say?
New fad diets.
New fad diets? Yes, right? Because how many people are gluten-free but really don't know what gluten is?
Vegetarian.
How many people don't even know, it's like it's from the endosperm, that starchy white stuff, and they're like, huh? Right? There's so many different fad diets out there that you have to look out for, and all the different trends and everything. And that brings us straight to technology. What would be something that could be technology related for your business that could be an issue?
If you don't have good Wi-Fi in your area or where your location is.
Yeah, maybe your customers, your target market, they are young and they want Wi-Fi, right? Everybody takes a picture of their food and posts it to their Instagram account before they actually taste it, right? So you got to make certain that you have your Wi-Fi up and going. What other ones?
All the
So
smart.
I know that I have younger kids. They do like the Snapchat thing. They're really big into that. So.
Exactly. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Jennifer?
Sorry.
I was gonna say,
No, you're good.
With all the smart technology like smartphones and stuff, all that really not being all that smart, if you know what I mean.
Well, and that's part of your marketing, right? If you are going to make certain that you are up to date on all of your technological realm that is today's world, you got to make certain that you're marketing appropriately, especially to your target market, right? Now, before we go, Chef Jonathan is going to go over your assignment. Since we started off strong talking about slots, we're going to go over your assignment now.
I love it. So, just as a reminder, since you guys have only seen a class page once or twice so far, right? Your assignment's going to be right here under Getting Started. And when you click into that, this week does have a template. If this ever loads, you'll make a copy of that template, and it's going to look something like this without all the writing in here. Your assignment is to fill out all of these white boxes here, and don't forget the SWOT analysis that's on page 2. So with this, name of your business, it doesn't have to be the final name that you're going to open your business with. If you have some idea, great. If you don't, just put in, John's Bar and Grill or whatever you want to have here. That's fine. I'm not going to really hit you for it, but just give something in each of these boxes for me. Type of operation, if you're a food truck, that's where that would be. If you're a catering company, a private chef, a restaurant, whatever the case may be, this is that concept, that bigger picture of that concept. And then you're going to drill that down a bit. How many days a week are you open? What hours during those days that you're open are you going to be open? Are you going to be in service for your guests? With a mission statement, mission statements are a little bit tricky. They're different from a tagline. So a tagline is a marketing tool. So like, ever heard the phrase, "I'm loving it"? Anybody? No? Killing me.
Da-da-da-da-da. Come on. Da-da-da-da-da.
McDonald's.
There we go. So that's a tagline. That's a marketing tool. This mission statement is not that. This mission statement is a statement of why your business exists. Why do you want to do this business? Where are your priorities and values as a business? If you don't care about ethics at all, and all you want to do is make as much money as possible, as quickly as possible, your mission statement might be Poor John's exists to make as much money as we can, as quickly as we can. That is our mission statement. Every single decision we make as a business is going to be based on that statement. That's a little tricky to come up with. I don't expect it to be perfection. This is a rough draft. But just keep in mind, it's really an internal document, something that you're going to share with your staff, not something that you're absolutely going to put out to the general public to try and draw people in. Does that make sense? Any questions on the mission statement?
No.
All right. With your ideal location, this could be a street address. If you know, I want that building that's down on the corner, that's my building. It can be a street address, or it can be a city and state, but try and at least have a city and state listed here. For these location demographics, these are different than target demographics. I'm not looking for who you're marketing your business to. I'm looking for who lives in the area where you're going to open your business. What is some information about them? This website right here, census.gov, has some wonderful information. Because with these demographics, we are looking for very specific numbers. And it does say right here exactly what those numbers are: average age, income, home price, and education level of the people who live in that area. So if you go to that census.gov website, it looks just like this. And there's this search bar at the top where you can type in whatever your city is. I'm in Omaha, so I did that, and I just click on this Omaha City, Nebraska, and it brings up this wonderful page. Each of these links has really detailed information. A lot of the information that you need for this assignment is going to be in this quick facts box on the right. You can see here, household income, how many people have graduated high school, average housing value. These are all right here for you. You might have to dig around a little bit, but if you want more detailed information on your area, these links can really help you. And they even have dates with them. So you can see how the population has changed over the years. And you can use that in your business plan. The more numbers you have to support what you're saying, the better off you'll be and the easier it'll be to convince people to be invested and interested in investing in you and your business. Does that make sense? Questions about those demographics, guys? No? Pretty straightforward? All right. There are other websites, there are other resources. Your local library, your local librarian are fantastic resources for pretty much any information. Just honestly, I love the library. But this can be a quick resource to get information if you're trying to do it just on your computer. With style of service, if you're going to have servers, if you're going to have people coming around to tables, that's what's meant by table service. If it's a buffet, if it's a food truck, they're going to come up to your window. There's a lot of different styles that you can be serving people. And this just helps you to clarify that a little bit. And that's actually going to feed into your labor a little later on in the course. So this assignment is really laying a lot of the groundwork for you to kind of look back at. Seating capacity, you may not have any seats in your concept. If you're a food truck and you don't want to bring any seats with you, just put a 0 there. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all dependent on your concept, and it will make sense to you with your concept, especially since you just spent 6 weeks fleshing out all this detail about your concepts in 155, right? So you can change your concept. I saw that in the chat a couple of times. That's totally okay. You can come up with a totally new concept, but you want to use the same concept from this week all the way through the course. Stick with the same concept so that you can get the most out of it. But you already have a bit of a head start if you use what you had in 155, because you've already thought a lot about things like the theme of your concept. How are you going to set up that dining room? Maybe that's how you want to market yourself. These marketable features are things that set you apart in your community, from your competition. Things that you love about your business are things that other people will probably love about your business. So it's the things that you're going to highlight when you're marketing your business. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. With those marketable features, please give me more than one, please. And also, please do not just say theme. Tell me what it is about your theme that's special. If you are talking about your menu, give me something specific. Maybe you've got sous vide steak on there. It sets you apart. That's totally something that I can market because it's different from what the other people in the area are doing, right? Okay. Estimated number of guests served. This is going to come right off that seating chart you guys had on the 155 assignment. Or just think about how many seats and how many turns you're expecting to do in a day. With your estimated check average, think about your menu. This doesn't have to be exact. I'm not looking for 13.73. Give me an estimate. If you think most people are going to come in and buy an appetizer and an entree, and your average appetizer price is $5 and your average entree price is $10, $15 works great for me. With the SWOT analysis, we just talked about this quite a bit. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But I do want to mention, I want to see at least 3 bullet points in each of these boxes. You'll lose points if you don't have at least 3 different things. And every single business out there has at least 3 weaknesses. Every single one has at least 3 threats, 3 opportunities, 3 strengths. They are it's always difficult to try and see where the problems are with your dream, but it's an incredibly valuable skill because it helps you to plan ahead. When you do open the doors on your concept and you already know you've got this weakness here, you've already got a plan for it, because once you identify the weakness, you can plan ahead. You can start to come up with ways to mitigate the damage that can do. Do you guys have any questions about the SWOT analysis, about the assignment in general? Anything not making sense?
And remember, you have competition. I may have been the only B&B in town, but who do you think my competition would be?
Local hotels.
Exactly, Manuel. Local hotels. Hilton, Marriott, that's my competition then. You may be the only sushi restaurant in town, but there are other restaurants in town, right? So you have to always look at your competition, and it's good to look at them. Maybe they're doing something different. Maybe they're like doing something that you should think, hey, that might work over in my area. Maybe I should try that type of procedure that they're doing with, their customers. Or I didn't think about doing this in the kitchen and maybe I should change it. Or now you could see if you have the best practices. Make sure that you are standing out. Yes, Chef Greg.
Chef Jennifer had a question for you.
Yes. I think you guys just answered it. I was going to ask about on the SWOT analysis, under it said the competing competing business. So we do their strengths and weaknesses and stuff for them too? Or what we specify what we think might be?
Yep. So you are going to put yourself in their shoes. You're going to look at their business and pretend like you're the owner of that business instead of your own.
Okay.
So these threats, competition, you might be one of their threats, but they are not going to be one of their own threats, right? These should not be how this business threatens your business. This should be what threats are there for your competition. So if you're doing McDonald's as your competition, let me know what business you're looking at, so that I know you're looking at a specific business in your area, and then you're going to put yourself in their shoes and do the exact same thing, that SWOT analysis for them.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Anybody? Any comments? Anything? When's this bad boy due? What day is it due? Let's hear. What do you guys think? When's your assignment due?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Thank you, Jennifer. At what time is it due?
11:59 Central Time.
Look at you. Exactly. And you even threw in Central Time. Look at that. You got it. This is due Central Time. Remember, because that can be tricky. I know you always have to think like, what time frame am I on? Yes, Chef Jonathan.
Couple things about assignment submissions while we're talking about it. Number 1, submit early. These assignments can sometimes look very simple. They probably are not as simple as they look at first glance. And if you have any questions and you don't look at it until Tuesday night, I may or may not be able to answer them at that point. So do it early, so if you do run into any challenges, you've got time to reach out and we can help you get through any challenges you run into. Also, if you resubmit, I can't actually grade it again until you resubmit in that week's assignment page. So if your first attempt isn't where you want it, if you got a 90 and you want to go back and make those corrections, that's awesome. I want to see it again, please. Just head into that week 1 assignment page and click that submit button again so that I actually can, Chef Greg and I can actually see that we need to look at it again.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns? Anything? Are you guys excited? I'm excited. I love this stuff. You guys need to get jazzed. We're talking about what you guys are going to want to do. This is like the end part. You guys are almost done. No senioritis here. We're going to follow through. We're going to finish strong. Because think of it this way. Look at all of these awesome tools that you guys are going to get. And say you don't want to open up your own business. You can take all this stuff you just learned and throw this straight into what you're doing now. And you're going to look fantastic. Maybe they'll even give you a raise for all the stuff that you're bringing up, for having all of the research and these tools available that you can use now. It's going to be great. Are you guys excited? Super excited? Anybody?
Yay!
I
Yes.
Right? It is going to be fantastic. So, if that is it, unless anybody else has anything. Nobody? Well, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being my first class here. I greatly appreciate it. I am so looking forward to having this time with you guys and having true, awesome adult conversations that don't include the wheels on the bus go round and round with my 4-year-old, right? I'm going to be able to talk and have fun talking about this awesome industry. So thank you for being my first class. I'm guessing Chef Greg is also thinking the same thing since this is his first class too.
Same thing to piggyback Chef. Yep, same thing. My first class also. Really excited to work with everybody, and thank you.
Yeah. And if you guys have any questions, please, who are you going to contact?
You, Chef Gregory, or Chef Jonathan?
Yeah, that's right.
I have one question though before you leave.
Yeah.
Will there be any extra credit work that we might be able to do if we wanted to?
Yeah, because we have that fancy good old survey that, remember?
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll have extra credit. That's going to be on week 6.
All right.
Yay!
Chef, we did have another quick question. Are you going to post those slides on the class page?
Yes, I will. It will be right under your live session. So it'll be the live session link. It'll be the archive once that's finishing processing, because that takes a while for that to actually load up. I thought I could do it instantly for the other class, and I was like, oh no, that's still processing. And then right underneath that will be the link for the slides for you guys to look at. All right. Well, it has been fantastic. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did. And I will see you guys. And so all of us will see you guys next week. Have a great, great week.
You too.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Bye, guys.
Night, everybody.